In case you don't know, and many people do share, nursing mothers love food, and that's a biological fact because they're feeding two people. Please allow them eat too. Please, food is important. So one day, I was walking to a restaurant to get a particular food for Fitz. She's a nursing mother, so you know. Then I felt a tap on my shoulder, and when I turned, behold, it was a friend of mine. We walked together, but we had not seen for a while. And in the course of our conversation, I told him that we have a new baby. He was very excited for me and then told me to come because he must get a gift for the baby. Just like that too. Ha.
I'm in the store. My colleague. Okay. Shukran. Thank you. Oh, I'm in the shop. Telling a colleague of mine as well this stuff for me.
This was what he and his wife got for Noe. In fact, I'm feeling emotional just voicing this. And I was just contemplating getting the rocker for her. Oh shit, see Noe flexing. Ha! God, when? Oh. Did you catch a smile? Chilling Pro Max. Ladies and gentlemen. That was the first of 10 good experiences that I've had in Saudi Arabia so far. They've changed me and I believe they will do the same to you. So let's begin. The next story is the most profound or the first experience I had that really left an impression on me. That was when I came in here newly and the gas was finished. I needed to find a place to fill the gas. And I didn't know anybody except for the people in the nearby shop. And so I went to them to ask them if I could fill my gas. And as I went there to speak with them, there was another man that was in the shop, a Saudi man, that volunteered information for me free of charge. I was talking with the shop people. He came to buy something in the shop and was telling me that okay, I should try this place. He wasn't really good in speaking English, and then my Arabic wasn't this good, so there were some little struggles in trying to explain to me about the nearest place to fill my gas. And so what he did was that he just told me to wait for him. He bought whatever he wanted to buy and told me to enter the car. Then he drove me to where they fill the gas and waited for me. Then he brought me back home. In the course of the journey, we had some very interesting discussions. And I can't remember his face, coupled with the fact that I'm really poor with faces. And then since then, we never had any communication again. That really struck me. An elderly man, and for him to be kind to a black man, or a stranger, he came to get something for his family, but he sacrificed the time to take me there and then bring me back free of charge. That really stood out for me. And it helped further cement some of the impressions that we've been believed to have about the people here. The next story is one time I was coming back from work, and I think then my wife had not yet come, and I decided to go to a shop close by to get some French fries. There was rice, but I didn't feel like eating cooked food that day. So as I just entered the place and they gave me my order, I realized that I had forgotten my wallet at home. I even went to work without the wallet. I don't need money to go to work, and I don't need money to do anything at work because my place of work then was about 20 minutes walk from home. So I don't need any transportation and I don't need to eat. So I didn't really notice that the wallet was missing till I came over and I wanted to pay, and I realized my wallet was in my bag. I felt embarrassed and tried to tell them this was what happened. Please, can they just hold the French fries? I'll just go home since the shop isn't too far from my house, and then I come back. While I was trying to talk to them about it, and they had already agreed, the man close by just said, no, there's no problem. And he paid for it. He paid for the French fries. I don't know the man. It's not someone that even maybe I'll say is one of my patients, and he was like, oh, doctor. And he just paid for it. And that was really profound too. Still can't remember the faces. Yeah. Then the next one was boats. Okay, I don't have a car here, so sometimes I need to take a ride to some places that I cannot walk. So I use the Bolt app. And I've had very interesting, very, very good so far, very good experiences with the Bolt drivers here. So one of them carried me and was like, we were conversing, "Oh, where are you from?" When they hear you struggle with Arabic, they know you're a foreigner. Like, where are you from? I told him, "We just finished." I needed to withdraw money and do something. So I told the person to please wait for me to withdraw the money. Since everything is being timed, there's no problem. I'll pay everything. Then withdraw the money, did whatever I wanted to do. He was to drop me at the shop there to run whichever errand I wanted to run. You know that when he dropped me there, he didn't collect any money. Like it was free of charge. He told me that the bill was on him. And for the fact that he had dropped me where I was withdrawing money. Yes, and so I didn't even give any impression as if I was broke or something. But we had a very interesting conversation. He spoke English relatively well. And so the conversation wasn't really difficult for either of us. And wow. And the next story is similar to that. I was going to work in the morning. I was running a bit late. So I ordered a boat and he asked that, please, could he get coffee close by? Yeah, Dunkin' Donuts was close, it's close to my place. And he wanted to take coffee. And I was like, no problem, we'll go branch over. And when he was ordering for it, he asked if I wanted. I told him no, there's no problem. Because a cup of coffee, the cheapest cup of coffee is more expensive than the money I was going to pay him for the trip. And he insisted and told me that it was on him. And he bought a cup of coffee for me. And the price was twice the amount I would have paid for the boat. And he took me to work. I paid ya. But the cup of coffee beats that. And he told me it's from him. I'm just using these two experiences because so far I've had very good encounters with boat drivers. Even my wife there was a boat driver that took us home from the store and it was free of charge. My wife was surprised. I told her that's what happens. And some of my friends, including Ali, Ali that took us to the Red Sea, he's the one that usually drives us around most times. I met him through boat, and in fact, that day he just took us from the store home, and I told him I needed to go somewhere, and I didn't know where it was. He volunteered to take me to the place and brought me back. And guess what? He didn't charge me extra for that. And since then, that's how Ali and I became very conversant with each other, and he's my go-to guy anytime. So both guys too. Then the next one was wow, this current house I'm staying. For some that would have noticed from the vlog when I arrived in Saudi Arabia, if you're very observant, you'll notice that the house is not the same with the initial house. And that's because I moved out. I stayed for 8 months in that previous house before coming here. And this place is more spacious and more economical for me. And how I got to know is that I was seeing a patient and he spoke English. And I was like, oh, do I know the other doctor? It's a Nigerian doctor too. It's like he's my friend. He said they stay opposite each other. And I was like, okay, good. That means we stay in the same area. And I was like, oh, nice. How much is my rent? I told him. He told me he has a house and with a better offer. And despite the fact that you say it's business, which I understand because the house was empty, the thing was that he told me about a day after I paid for my next month rent in the previous house I was staying. So there's no way I can pay for this house and move for it again. It means the 1 month rent that I paid is useless. I love the house. We came here and saw the house. We came with Phoebs. Phoebs loved it. And I told him that unfortunately, as much as I love the house, I can't move in immediately because I have to stay for an extra 8 months in the previous place because I had paid for the rent. I was like, and I can't tell you to keep the house because if someone comes, you'll lose money. And then he told me something. He told me there's no problem. He likes me and he would keep the house for us for a month and we're not paying for the extra month. What he just asked for was that I should give him something to just like commute or so. So I gave him about one third of the rentals. And the rentals didn't count for that month, it counted for the next month. That means he lost 1 month worth of rent just to bring us into the house. And then eventually, when I came in and paid the remaining balance, it was for the following month and not the previous month that we had met. And that's the house I'm staying in. Since then, we've had a very good relationship with the landlord. He's a very nice man, he's a superb man, and we're very, very comfortable. Yeah, much more comfortable than we were in the previous house. The next one is a very funny one. I hope I have the picture that I snapped. I will display it on the screen. There was a patient that came in with his child and he loved the way I attended to them. He said, I should wait, I should wait. He has something for me. And he went to bring a bunch of chewing sticks. Like he brought two initially and he was like, this is very good. It's better than toothbrush and toothpaste. And then next he was like, I should wait, I should wait. He went to pack like 12 or so and brought to me out of his generosity. And then the people around work were telling me that, yeah, this is quite a generous move. And I loved it. I loved how sincerely he gave me something valuable. And I used the train stick once, but I distributed the remaining to my colleagues at work because they liked it. I knew I wasn't going to use it. I still prefer my toothbrush, but stood out for me. And it's the sincerity, the zeal, like the eagerness to give me something that touched me very well. The stories are just much. Then the next one was there was a time my ATM card got missing here. And later on, I noticed that maybe someone found the card and was withdrawing money. And because of that, I lost money. I was able to call the customer care services of the bank and block the card. And it was around the middle of the month. And there were needs to be met. So I went to meet the shop people close to me. I spoke to them about the predicament. I told them that I would need once in a while to get some things from them. If they're able to just credit me by the end of the month, I would pay them back. I tried to be decent in the spending, but these people are super understanding and they agreed. And wow, it was a very difficult month, couple of weeks, but eventually we pulled through. I can't even imagine them not helping me. Like very hard. And then I came in newly. I was into debt. The significant chunk of my money was going to paying back my debt that I used to come over to this place. So many of the guys I knew were people that I even needed to pay them back also. So there was no way I could even ask for further loan. And that's why these shop people came to my rescue. And that went a long way for me. It really did. Then the second to the last one was there's a very big store close to the house. It's about 10 to 15 minutes walk. And then we were walking with Phoebs. Phoebs was pregnant, so we decided to trek so that we could just all exercise. And most times, Alice would prefer I carry her. So as we were walking towards the store, we reached a point and someone just drove and told us that, are we going to Hyper Panda? That's the name of the store. I told him yes. He just told us to come and he carried us there free of charge. And why that stood out for me was that it was at night. Getting cars is a little bit more difficult, and ordering boat was a bit more difficult. We usually order for a boat after we've gotten the stuff because we usually buy in bulk, so there's no way we could carry. And so we decide to walk to the place and then drive back. And this one really saw us and without anything offered to carry us to the place. And it's really touching. Like it's really touching. I can't even speak about how many times people had volunteered to give me a ride. But for the professional trekker that I am, I usually try to avoid that by walking on the opposite side of the road. So where I'm walking to is opposite to where most cars are coming. But many times I can't even count how many times people had offered to give me a ride. And some of them are patients that I've seen too. Oh, And the last one is not too long after I came here, I was discussing with my then manager at the healthcare facility I work in, and I told him that I play the guitar and I don't know where I could get a guitar in this region. He initially told me he knows someone that has a guitar. Maybe he's going to ask him. So one day, he just walked and gave me a guitar. And he told me that it's on him. He bought the guitar for me. And wow, because he said that it's his gift to me because he really, really likes me. And yes, they are that expensive. I decided to name the guitar after him. I have a bigger guitar now, a more professional guitar. But that guitar means a lot to me because it comes from a very genuine place. He's my very good friend, and though he's my manager, he makes sure that I am quite comfortable, especially initially as I came in. He has been super helpful, and the guitar, I think, let me show you the guitar. Yep, this is the guitar I got for me. And though I'm a professional guitar, it has some fixing to do, and it's not really my size. This is the medium size, and let me drop this here. This is the one I eventually bought later, but I started using this before I got this one, and I had to buy it at another region, a commercial town. So if you notice, they're not the same size at all. You see. So, but this is this is very superb. It comes from a genuine place, and I appreciate it. Yeah. Let me drop this. Yep. That's all. Actually, much more, but I decided to give this one out to help us know that there's more to people than you think. You can't just stay outside and form some impressions, except you meet and there are great people here. This is my personal experience. I don't know for others, you could share, especially if you're in the Middle East, you could share about your experiences here. And most times it's usually positive. I remember when people were sharing their experience about the World Cup in Qatar, a lot of people were surprised about how the Middle East is. I just hope that we'll be open towards knowing people and try to be quite more objective when we're approaching people. It will shock you that some of the mindset you've had earlier will be totally opposite of the reality of what you meet eventually. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you've learned a lot of things too. If you did, please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, and you can share it with as many people as possible. And we'll discuss about these things in the comment section. And if you love what I do and you want to continue visiting, please subscribe and turn on the bell notification so you don't miss my videos. So thank you. I will see you in my next video.